to expect sitting down. I wasn't involved in the making of the film. So I'm in a dark theater, movie starts, and I start to see things I recognize.
Nice night for a walk, eh?
Your clothes. Give them to me. Now.
And then all of a sudden it just swerves.
I've been waiting for you.
And now I'm going on a journey. If you like the Terminator films,
I'll be back.
you're gonna love this movie.
See, James Cameron loves this movie. He just praised it right here. Please come see our movie. I mean, come on. The master, the man behind this, he has never done anything that's completely wrong or has made something terrible or has made bad decisions, you know, instead of remaking the same goddamn movie over and over again with the Avatar franchise and basically being the person that got Paramount, Warner Brothers in the long run. Yeah, fuck James Cameron, man. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, James Cameron is up there with Ridley Scott. He was a master back in the day, but now he's just a shell of his former self here. But, yeah, you know how lazy this movie is when they have to go to James Cameron and pay him God knows how much money to say good things about this movie. You know good and goddamn well there's nothing good about this movie whatsoever. But welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. We're at the midway point of 2015. It's 4th of July weekend, and we're starting off with the biggest of the new releases, and I say that in quotation marks because, yeah, this was not a big hit at all. And, anyone that said Terminator Salvation was the worst, it was the beginning of the end of the Terminator franchise, Terminator Genisys says, hold my beer. This is a movie that is a reimagining of the Terminator, as they say here, but it follows Kyle Reese, played by Jai Courtney in this movie, a soldier from the post-apocalyptic 2029, which, considering that we're 3 years away from that, and with us going to war with Iran again, it would not surprise me if this becomes a reality, but it's post-apocalyptic 2029, where humanity wages war against Skynet. Sent back to 1984 to protect Sarah Connor, played by Emilia Clarke, Reese discovers that the timeline has been altered. Sarah was raised by a reprogrammed Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was the big deal with this movie of Schwarzenegger coming back to this one, sent to guard her. And the film explores the consequences of Skynet's interference with temporal events. Case in point, Jason Clarke, who plays John Connor, is now the bad guy. And that is not me spoiling the movie at all. It is literally in the marketing for this movie. I am not even kidding you. The biggest spoil of the movie is revealed in the trailers. I mean, they knew this was Dead on Arrival. This is the beginning of the end of this franchise that was once respected back in the day. I mean, even the worst film that had come up before this, Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, still had at least something of value to it. They have no idea what they're doing anymore. This film was unbearable to sit through. I could not believe how bad this movie was. From the title alone, which is literally bad literature with Genisys, instead of it just being, you know, Genisys. No, they have to make it sound cool by putting a Y there instead of another I at the end. Like, that alone would make it bad enough, but no. They could make the film much worse than that. And, yeah. The main problem is that the film gives a lot of the marketing away, but even then, like, I mean, you know, people said the same thing about Terminator Salvation. In fact, it's funny how Terminator Salvation had a lot of the same problems that this movie had, and yet nobody had a problem when this movie did it, but they were sure as ready to do it when Christian Bale and Terminator Salvation did it. And I'm sorry, Terminator Salvation is the better of these movies. Yeah, it's PG-13. This is PG-13 too. They did the exact same thing, except make it worse. They made this thing a whole lot worse. Let's go with that. A whole lot worse than anybody could have imagined. And like I said, you people out there owe Terminator Salvation a fucking apology for criticizing that movie, because at least that one had some ambition to it. There was at least an idea to it. We actually got to be in the war against Skynet in that movie, and yet everybody passes off to the side, just like, no, it's not my Terminator movie. Well, guess what? Not your Terminator movie is a million times better than what comes after this, because, yeah, this movie is god-awful. They try to talk down to Terminator fans by saying, hey, we're going to keep saying that everything's changed to make you think we've actually done something great here. You didn't do anything great here. You've just basically said, we're redoing everything so we can do what we want to do with the Terminator franchise. And what you decided to do with it is complete and utter BS. Now, to its credit, the only two things I will give a credit for are Schwarzenegger coming back as the Terminator. I do like this idea that Sarah Connor is raised by this Terminator. And, Emilia Clarke I thought was pretty good in the movie. That's the one thing I'll give this movie credit for. That I thought could have been a really cool idea, a really cool twist that would have made this work in general. But unfortunately, that's where the praise for this movie ends, because everything else about this movie is fucking terrible. Like, it wastes so much talent across the board here. I mean, Jason Clarke is a terrific actor, but the fact that they made John Connor the bad guy, which again, could be a good idea. It's a good concept since you're going to redo the storyline here, but make him threatening, for God's sakes. Like, the thing about this movie is that when they spoil in the movie, it's not a big surprise because you put it in the marketing. Like, this film literally is everything that you should not do with a franchise like Terminator that you're trying to rebrand for a new generation. It's like Paramount saw this Terminator franchise and said, how do we go ahead and market this movie? Well, let's just go ahead and reveal everything. That way people will come and see it, even though we basically have just given them no reason to see the film because we just spoiled the goddamn twist here. Like, this, it's a bad movie. It's a really bad movie, and, I'm just glad Paramount's no longer doing the Terminator franchise anymore, because after this, and especially after Dark Fate, I mean, they just completely ran out of ideas. But if the movie wasn't bad enough, forcing James Cameron to come out and literally give the movie the only praise that it will ever get. Like, if you look at the back of the Blu-ray for this, or the DVD, his review is the only review you'll see on the back of the DVD. That's how you know this movie was terrible. I mean, this thing was a bad, bad movie, and maybe it's just an indication that Alan Taylor, the director of this movie, probably should have stuck with television, because, every movie he's made since Thor the Dark World really has not amounted to much. And it's only been 3 movies. Thor the Dark World, which wasn't bad, this, and then The Many Saints of New York, which was a lackluster film overall, but, I mean, you get the point here. Terminator Genisys is just a terrible, terrible movie. Avoid it like the plague. One of the worst movies I saw in 2015. It's a bad, bad movie, man. Just, there's better Arnold Schwarzenegger movies that came out in 2015 you should see. Watch Maggie. Watch a movie where he actually is doing something that's completely different. That's completely unique for him. Don't watch this garbage here where he's wasting a good performance on a bad movie like this. This movie is just terrible. Oh, and sure enough, I bring up Paramount. Guess who was one of the producers on this movie? David Ellison. What does David Ellison own? Skydance Productions. So yeah, this movie was dead on arrival. I mean, this movie just, fuck this movie, man. This is awful. Oh, and by the way, James Cameron said in that commercial there, I had nothing to do with the movie in general, even though the producers literally consulted with him to draw inspiration from the first 2 films. And he's going like, I had nothing to do with the movie. Just like, you're a creative consultant. I mean, you had some involvement in this movie, whether you want to admit it or not. It's just, this. So that's Terminator Genisys. So let's go ahead and move on to at least somewhat better sequel than this, sort of, Magic Mike XXL. Why does it look like a horror movie's about to break out? I mean, literally, you could have a movie where a guy is working in that barn, and then just having that song, that song. I can't remember the title of it right now, but it goes like, "Want it, please do it, ride in that pony." I can't remember the name of the song. I think it's "Ride the Pony." I don't know, but yeah. He hears that song, and all of a sudden he becomes a male stripper. It's just like, that sounds like the idea of a horror movie here, but that's a little bit from Magic Mike XXL. And I said that Reed Carolyn was the director of this movie, I think, on the last episode. That is incorrect. The director of this is actually Gregory Jacobs, whose previous movie he directed was Wind Chill, which came out 8 years prior, featured Emily Blunt. So, Steven Soderbergh didn't really have a whole lot to do with this, and that's kind of a negative towards the film. It's been 3 years since Tampa-based Mike Lane, played by Channing Tatum, transitioned from the life of a stripper, his stage name behind Magic Mike, to his dream of starting his own custom furniture business. Those 3 years mixed in the terms of the goods and the bads from him personally. His ex-troops, the King of Tampa, minus who was their boss, Dallas, stop off in Tampa for their current home base in Miami on a road trip to a stripper convention in Myrtle Beach. As the remaining troop members are nearing the end of their stripping lives, they, like Mike, who are at an advanced age beyond that of most strippers, they see this convention as their final hurrah in his life. Mike decides to join his old friends on the road trip to send off. The current troop members start to have their own dreams about their futures and being with Mike, while Mike has his own vision of his friends and his current life not being everything he had hoped it would be. But especially without Dallas at the helm, the troop members are feeling a bit lost, while Mike is trying to inspire them, which he may not be able to do. As they make several stops along the way, they encounter many groups of women, which may demonstrate whether their thoughts about what to do at the convention is a good idea, and if they still have what it takes. Beyond these encounters with women, the trip itself hits its bumps, and Mike needs to call in some favors and mend some bridges, even to make it to Myrtle Beach. It's not certain if those at the other end will accept Mike's pleas for help or his apologies. So, it's kind of a little bit of a convoluted movie, but you have a lot of the same people back from the first movie. Matt Bomer, Joe Manganiello, Kevin Nash, Adam Rodriguez. Matthew McConaughey's not back for this one here, but they do bring in people like Gabriel Iglesias. I can't remember if he was in the first movie or not, but Amber Heard, Donald Glover, Stephen Twitch Boss, Michael Strahan. You got Andy McDowell, Elizabeth Banks, Jada Pinkett Smith. And yeah, like I said before, without Steven Soderbergh there to kind of help give this movie an identity, because that's what made the first Magic Mike movie work, was because of the direction by Steven Soderbergh and what he was able to bring to the table and make a story that was entertaining, not just for the women who are going to go see this movie in droves, but for the boyfriends and the guys that are going to be dragged there regardless. But yeah, this movie is not as good as it could have been. I mean, this is probably the lesser of the Magic Mike movies, and you can definitely see that when you see the next movie, which does feature Steven Soderbergh returning as the director for that movie. That one at least felt like more of a continuing storyline and a story that kind of wraps itself up. This one really does feel like, simply and effectively, it's a sequel that's being made solely because the first movie was a big success. And this one was successful. I mean, it did go on to make over $117 million worldwide off of a $15 million budget. But considering how well the first movie made, I think the first movie did like over, $200 million, I think it was? Not even close. $167 million. And this is multiple the budget on that movie. And Gabriel Iglesias was in the first Magic Mike movie. But, yeah, that first one cost $7 million. This is, of course, double the budget. So it's not a cheap-looking movie. They are putting the effort into it. And I think what really was missing from it, quite simply, was the fact that you didn't have Steven Soderbergh there to give that film its stylistic look and appeal that could appeal to not just the target women audience, but also the males as well, as that first film did. This one just really kind of felt like they really didn't have a clear idea of what they wanted to do for a story here. So let's just get the gang back together for one last go-around. And, yeah, that's really where the film kind of loses me here. It's just, I mean, it's not a bad movie, but it's definitely the lesser of these films in general. It's a movie where, yeah, it's the type of movie people were expecting the first one to be like, where it's just a movie that's specifically made for the girls, their gal pals, to go out on a Friday night or Saturday night and just have a good time with it. But yeah, it's a movie where it's definitely an inferior film to the previous movie. Not a bad movie, but certainly one needing Steven Soderbergh there to really give it that extra oomph. So. But even though he was involved in this under different pseudonyms, like he acted as the editor and the cinematographer through different things. But even with all that said, it still really felt like an inferior film to the first movie in general. So that's Magic Mike for you. So let's go ahead and move on to the last movie that we have here, which is easily the best movie of the entire week, and that is the documentary about Amy Winehouse from the creators of Senna, Amy.
This July,
I don't think I'm going to be at all famous.
discover the girl behind the name.
I would go mad.
From the makers of Senna comes the powerful, unmissable, 5-star masterpiece.
Amy Winehouse. She was one of the truest artists that I ever heard.
So this is, of course, the documentary about the life of the late, great Amy Winehouse, and deals with her life and struggles with substance abuse, both before and after her career blossomed, which may have eventually caused her death. Which it did eventually cause her death, I should say. Not may, but like I said, this is made by the same people that did Senna, and they basically had a documentary where, 2 years ago they were going to make a movie about her career, her life, a very complicated and tender movie, as said by the producer at the CEO at Universal Music UK, saying also that it tackled a lot of things about family and media, fame, addiction, but most importantly, captured the very heart of what she was about, which is an amazing person and a true musical genius. And yeah, Amy Winehouse was somebody who clearly was, it was clearly about something that people made too much fun of because of the fact that she looked like what she did, but is completely forgetting the fact that this woman could sing like no tomorrow. I mean, before Adele made it cool with the way she looked, Amy Winehouse made it. But Amy Winehouse was one of the greatest singers we had out there, and just a tragic life that went away too soon. And the more I realized that ever since she left us, I mean, this is somebody who really deserved a lot more praise and a much more attention than she got back then. And this documentary overall does a very good job of handling this. I think it's a movie where it really is well done, and a movie that just works because of the fact that they got this footage. They have a great director in this director Asif Kapadia. Asif Kapadia. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but of course the same person that did Senna, which was also a great documentary. And yeah, it's a movie where it's just incredible to look at. It's a good documentary that shows the life of this woman, shows her flaws, but shows why she was so memorable and so great. And I think it's hilarious that her father heavily criticized this movie and distanced himself from the documentary, even though Universal basically said they only secured the cooperation of the parents when they signed her up, the director of this film. And I think it's even more hilarious that he hates this movie, but yet he and the family fully endorsed the god-awful biopic we had not too long ago, Back to Black, which basically was a movie that had a great performance by Marissa Abella as Amy Winehouse, but the rest of the movie was complete and utter music biopic BS, like the type of movie where the family wants a safe and marketable movie that shows the person involved as a beautiful creature and nothing bad can ever go wrong with her. And yeah, that's what Back to Black was. I hate that movie so much, even though that performance is so good by Marissa Abella, but the rest of the movie is that's just a bad movie, man. This movie right here. This is a definitive Amy Winehouse movie. This is the movie that you look at and you get why this person is who she was and how great she was. I mean, one review kind of said it best. It's a tragic masterpiece. I mean, it is definitely that because it shows everything that you expect. It shows everything that you want to see in a story like this. It's a gut-wrenching movie about somebody who really is one of the great musical minds of this generation. I mean, she was somebody who really was a victim of an addiction that she couldn't really get herself out of. It was hard to do, but hey, but at least she'll give us memories in great music that will last forever. It's a terrific movie, man. It's a film that I cannot recommend enough. This is the movie to watch if you want the definitive Amy Winehouse film. Screw Back to Black. Amy is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. I can't recommend this one enough. Seek this one out if you haven't seen it. Amy is absolute brilliance. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, the Minions get their own spin-off movie called Minions, and surprisingly, it's better than any of the Despicable Me movies. I know, funny. We have Jason Blum trying to create another low-budgeted horror hit in The Gallows, and yeah, it didn't quite work out so well. I believe Tarsem is back with a new movie. If I remember correctly, this might be directed by him, Selfless. Yeah, it is by him, and if you remember my reviews for Mirror Mirror and also Immortals and X-Men Origins, not X-Men Origins, Wolverine, what was the other one he did? The Cell. Yeah, you might think that I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, and sure enough, I'm not, but maybe he'll turn it around with this movie. No, he won't. Let's see, is there anything else here that I completely forgot about? Trying to look to see. I think that's it. Just those three movies in general. We'll take a look at Minions, we'll take a look at The Gallows, and also Selfless. So that will be coming up tomorrow here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But with all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. With all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.